We are talking with them. We are interviewing them. We are building relationships with them. We are building relationships with them before you have the opportunity to build a relationship with them. I'm sure many of you may have seen in the news about some of the issues that people that have been using the dating apps and the Tinders of the world, those kind of sites, have been running into in Colombia. And unfortunately, there's been several deaths in that area. And it's not just Colombia. I'm sure there's other countries as well, but they're focusing on Colombia. And, as always, the media is a little bit slow to the party because we've been talking about this now for quite some time. A year and a half ago or so, there was a gentleman that very same thing happened, where he went over, used an app, and was lured somewhere and then drugged, and then unfortunately it's too much of a drug and died. And the sad thing about these apps is that no one really knows who that person is. Anyone can join these apps. It's not difficult to do. There's not a screening process. There's not personnel there to help you with the introduction or anything like that. It's a do-it-yourself process, right? You go over, you put in the information. Oh, this woman seems to be, very interested in me. I'm going to go meet her. And a lot of this is being fueled by the recent movement of what's called passport bros. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that as well. So we're getting more and more people that are traveling over and using more of the do-it-yourself because, well, I'll just go over and I'll meet these people and no problem, easy peasy. Well, it's really not that easy, and you really do need to be careful about it because, yes, it's wonderful that with this new movement of passport bros, you discovered that there's a whole new world out there and that it is possible to meet women from other cultures in other countries and all that. But you still need to be careful about it. We've been doing this for almost 30 years, and we've developed an amazing infrastructure in that time to where men and women can meet in a very safe, sane environment. We've never had anyone met the kind of fate that's been happening with these do-it-yourself sites or these apps. And one of the reasons for that is that when the women join our service, they are going through a process with our offices. They are interfacing with our staff, meeting our staff. Our staff is getting to know them. We're getting government IDs. We are talking with them. We are interviewing them. We are building relationships with them. We are building relationships with them before you have the opportunity to build a relationship with them. So now all of a sudden Colombia's got this terrible bad rap about, oh, well, it's not safe, you can't go, blah, blah, blah. That you understand the difference between a do-it-yourself app where you put in something and swipe left. Oh, yeah, this girl's great. Okay, I'll go meet her. And you have no idea what's going on. No one's going to be there to meet you when you get there to help you make this date happen. You're going to get there, you have to sit up all by yourself and try to figure it out and then hope that she's not going to throw you in a room with a gang of people and hold you for ransom and whatever. It's terrible. These are tragedies that are happening and they're avoidable. So if you're going to do it, all right, and look, we've been doing this for almost 30 years worldwide, not just in Colombia, but in Costa Rica and in Mexico and in Peru, in Latin America, and then also in Asia countries and in Eastern European countries. But we do it safely. We do it sanely. So, if this is something you want to do, then find a company like us. It doesn't have to be us. It should be us because we're the best, okay? It really should be us. But it doesn't have to be us, right? There may be one or two other companies out there, maybe, that come close at least to doing something that at least they're knowing who these women are that they might introduce you to, and they can help to make sure that you are meeting the right women and they know what's going on. So find someone, but just please don't go and just do a do-it-yourself app type thing. You might think, oh, well, I'll save maybe $1 or $2. You might save $1 or $2, and it might cost you your life. But I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. Please don't discount Colombia. What if you're going over individually? What do we do to help with that?
Individual tours are usually designed for the guys who cannot make it for the group tour for whatever reason. So you can always travel at your own leisure, with your own convenience. So just let us know when you come and give us your list of ladies. Our staff is there, our office staff is, there's basically 7 days a week for you. And if they're not in the office, you have your contact person phone number, and you talk to this person, 7 a.m. till, even if you're somewhere at the restaurant with a woman, you don't feel comfortable, as John was talking earlier, you can always call and say, hey, Olga, there is something going on with this woman. Can you just help me? Or like, we'll come and solve your problem for you, even if it's not a group tour, doesn't matter. Our staff is always there to help you, especially if it's emergency case. It's 24/7, so you can call them anytime. So that's important.
And the same thing I talked about earlier applies with the individual introductions as well. I mean, these women are on our service. We know who they are. We have their, we know where they live. We have their contact.
Well, we literally do, yes.
Yeah,
we have their addresses. Especially with Latin America, we do have contact information for their family members in case we can get a hold of her. She usually leaves a phone number like, okay, here's my sister or mom's phone number. You can also call them just to reach out to me. So we know the addresses, phone numbers, again, passports, all kind of information.
And we know the women. I mean, many of our office personnel interact with these women, and they build relationships with women. So these aren't just like total strangers for the most part. Maybe they don't know all the women as well as each one, right? They're going to know some better than others, but they have some kind of an interaction with these women. Unlike the apps. With the apps don't know anybody. I'm an app. I mean, how does an app know anybody, right?
And if something God forbid, but if something happened, for example, you're supposed to talk to staff member 6 o'clock, she calls you, because you have a next date, and you're not answering, she's gonna start calling your hotel, and they'll go knock on your room, make sure you're alive, and so it's somebody at least will be concerned pretty much right away. So if something happens, you will find you right away. If you're there on your own, nobody knows where you are, your family's probably not going to be worried and calling you every 15 minutes, so nobody will know you've got 3 days.
That happened to me once in probably St. Petersburg or someplace. So we have the tour going, this guy he was fun, he was around, and he didn't show up the next day. I'm like, where's Bill, whatever his name was? And, no one saw Bill. So I'm starting to ask everybody, I'm seeing, where's Bill? Kind call Bill. Bill's not answering. Now another day goes by. Now I'm starting to get really worried. Okay, where's Bill? And now my mission is to find Bill, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm calling hospitals. I'm worried about Bill. I'm figuring out where Bill is. Because we got like 20 some guys, but Bill has been AWOL for the last, 48 hours. I'm like, okay, we got to find Bill. And all of a sudden, Bill just kind of wanders in. I'm like, with a big smile on his face. I'm like, Bill, where you been? He's like, oh, I met this girl. It was so great, John. And I went to her house, and I ended up staying at her house for a couple days. I'm like, you could have called, One of the guys was really talking about you guys there, you and the others and the staff, how you treated them like family, which I always talk about in all of our locations. And that's a big point of pride for me, is that we do treat our guests like family when they come. We care about them. We take care of them. Let's see an app do that. You're not going to get an app to do that in those do-it-yourself things, but we do, because we're real, and well, it's true. And so they take really good care of you. And those guys really enjoyed all the special little things that you did. Of course, they go there with the expectation they're going to meet women. And of course that happened, right? But that can happen in a lot of different ways. But the way we make it happen is special. And I think those guys really appreciate that. Remember what we talked about the do-it-yourself sites and the apps out there. So when you read these things in the papers and stuff, remember what they're talking about. It's not us. It's do-it-yourself apps, and it's not everybody in Colombia, right? So it's a very, very, very small little section of people that just want to do bad things. And there's always going to be that. And you don't think that happens here in the United States? Happens here too. Happens in lots of different places. So, you just have to understand that. Understand the media is going to try and make a big deal of it as long as they can, because that's what the media does. They have to sell papers. But heated as well concerning do-it-yourself sites. So stay away from the apps and those things unless you do it very, very safely somehow.
Searching for that one special woman to complete your life? Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Check out our website at
CartagenaDating.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.